Hi everybody and welcome to the...
Higgledy podcast.
That's boring, it was him this time. He's the one we've had for weeks. I've got load... Have you heard the other ones?
Uh, I, I'm pretty sure you showed me the Johnny Silverhand one.
It should be on shuffle, so let's just go. Welcome to the...
The Higgledy podcast.
It apparently is doing it in order, because that's the next one.
Yeah.
I'm not going to spoil the other ones. We've got a bunch of celebrity guests doing it for us now, and they're definitely real and definitely not AI generated.
That was actually Johnny Silverhand, the
Yeah.
real person.
Yeah, not Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
The new Cyberpunk update is wild. It's actually real life now. Cool. Hi, welcome to the Higgledy Piggledy. I'm Peter,
I'm Alex. Hello. I'm back this week.
and we've subbed Alex out for both Callum and Tommy.
Callum was taken by the wind once again.
Once again, and Tommy said fuck everyone who watches this, especially if one day this channel's a lot bigger and you're like, ooh, I wonder what the early Higgledy Piggledy podcast episodes were like, but not the like very first ones, but like maybe early season 2, and you go back and watch it. He said fuck you especially. And he's playing Destiny 2.
Yep. It's more important than this.
He's not even playing, I don't think he's playing Destiny 2 with anyone, is he? He's just playing Destiny 2.
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he has a couple of mates to play with, but I don't know.
Tommy doesn't have mates.
It's up to him, I guess.
Cool. But yeah, so it's just the two of us again, but hey, I feel like we're the OGs. I mean, Tommy was there on episode 1, but like we're the ones who are like, keep this going, you know.
Yeah,
You did the artwork, I edited the stuff, you know. Tommy and Callum, they just show up and do stuff. Like, Tommy's not even a permanent member anymore because he died and got fired. So, like, you know.
I mean, maybe let's not slag them off too much in case
they're not going to watch this.
They
and if they
won't,
do, fuck you. Except, no, you know what? Tommy, if you watch this, fuck you. Callum, I forgive him. He's got the wind.
Yeah. Well, he hasn't got the wind. He was taken by it. The wind has got him.
Yeah. There's a storm in the UK at the moment. It's actually 2 storms, right? Because there's storm... Is it Eunice?
Yeah, and then...
Storm...
Dorian?
No, it begins with an F because it goes in letter order. So E and then F, but I can't... I want to say Franklin, but that doesn't sound right.
I can't remember.
Either way, there's a storm up north as well, which is apparently even worse. Luckily, I don't know for you, but for me, it's mostly gone. It was pretty windy this morning, but like it's currently no wind whatsoever. I actually have windows open right at the moment, so if it suddenly starts up again, I'm gonna have to run around the house real quick. So
yeah, I went into the center of Bristol last night, and like around about like 4:30 onwards, it was just fucking terrible. Like I was like trying to walk through Bristol, like just like this, you know, like trying to shield my eyes and everything, wind whipping around and rain, and yeah, it was really bad. But then round about like 10:30 on our way back, it pretty much just like stopped dead. Like there was no wind, there was no rain, there was nothing.
yeah.
So yeah, I think it's round about gone now.
I think the worst is over. Because it's always darkest just before the dawn, so yesterday was the darkest point, and now it's the dawn, apparently.
Definitely. But yeah, we've got a few things to talk about, but it could end up being a shorter episode.
I think last week was a bit shorter as well, so yeah, I mean, maybe we're finally kicking that 2.5 hour trend, and we're getting down to like the original episodes, which were like an hour and a half long. It'd be nice. It's not that I don't like talking to you. I don't like editing me talking to you.
No, that's fair enough. I understand that. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. What do you want to start with?
Ooh, what have we got this week? I mean,
We've got.
maybe we should go.
We could just go in the order it's in if you want.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to talk about the Old Republic. I don't know if that's on.
No, that's not. Should we jump in with that? Because that's kind of probably the big one, I'd say.
Yeah, all right, let's begin with that.
Cool. So, The Old Republic, as we've mentioned a couple of times recently, a couple weeks running really, some of us have gotten back into that. Not Tommy. He is off playing games on his own, like Final Fantasy
Rachel.
14 or Destiny or other stuff, probably. Um, but you, me, and Callum have all gotten back into it. I don't know about you. I've gotten back into it hard. I've probably sank like 30 hours in the last 2 weeks.
I kind of took a break because recently there's just been so much stuff coming out and like things are bought. I mean, like I was just chatting to a few friends and I was like, bloody hell, there's like Sifu, Lost Ark. I'm still trying to finish Pokemon. I bought like a game, Planetary Annihilation, that I was playing with Tom. Obviously, SWTOR. Um, Probably a couple more that I can't even remember at the moment. Oh, the Baldur's Gate 3 update, which I'd like to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
I have so many games that I want to be playing at the moment, and I just don't have time.
Yeah.
So, like, I got into Pokemon for like a few days, and I was pretty much just sweating that because I was just like, I just wanted to relax basically, and just going around throwing Pokeballs at shit was just really therapeutic. But over the last couple of days, I've got back into SWTOR again. I've started a Jedi finally.
Hey.
I feel like a traitor because I I really just want to keep creating Sith characters, but I was like, I need to do it at some point,
But
and because of this new update,
you
I
could play as a
can
Sith.
exactly. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm getting back into it now.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of similar, and to be honest with you, it sucks. I've been so busy this past week, and my sleep schedule's been off that I try and stream at kind of a rough set time. I've not touched Sifu in like a week, and I'm desperate to get back to it, but I also know I'm gonna suck at it when I get back to it, so that's gonna be fun. But because I'm not streaming SWTOR, that's been like, oh, I want to play a video game, and I'm up at 4 o'clock in the morning, so I can do that absolutely fine. Yeah, my sleep schedule's been real fucked recently. um, yeah, I've been sinking a lot of hours into it, and I've been really enjoying it. I've got 3 characters at the moment. I'm kind of just jumping between them, whichever one I'm vibing with. So I've got my Jedi Knight character, who's like my OG character. He's all doing post game stuff. So I'm doing Shadow of Revan at the moment. I've got a smuggler
Nice.
who's like, I think in chapter 3 of her story, if memory serves.
Right.
And then I've just started a bounty hunter, which I mentioned last week, and I don't know if you heard, but I did curse you out for it.
Yeah, I think we talked about this off stream.
Yeah. But yeah,
Or
no, I'm
video.
I'm really enjoying the bounty hunter. But the reason why we're talking about it this week is because it's the 10-year anniversary, and they've just released the Legacy of the Sith update. I can hear some background noise on my microphone. I'm just going to quickly close the window behind me.
Okie dokie. Hello, it's me. I am here by myself now. I will keep you entertained before Pete gets back. He is back. There we go.
Good entertaining, bro. Yeah, so they released a CGI trailer, which I was not expecting. I was like, I was honestly a little bit bummed out when they did the gameplay story trailer, because I was like, oh man, if only we'd gone another CGI trailer. A couple of weeks later, they gave us a CGI trailer, which was
On the
awesome.
day that it released, which
Yeah.
I thought was kind of strange, but
I guess it's like the thing of like you can drum up attention to your game, and then it's like, hey, in the update's live, so you don't have to wait for it to come out or anything.
I mean, yeah, I guess, but I mean, I feel like SWTOR is still like I think SWTOR is one of those games, kind of like League of Legends and stuff, where they have like really good cinematic trailers, but like people will watch them and still not play the game.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think if they
Part of
release the
it is because
trailer,
the trailer doesn't really in any way, shape, or form reflect the game.
no, I like, and I get that. However, I mean, maybe it is just me, but in the past, I know that once I've watched a cinematic trailer or something, again, like League of Legends, I will sort of watch it and think, "Oh my God, this world looks incredible. Like the lore looks really cool. Like it kind of gets me in the mood again." and then it will make me want to play it.
Mhm.
And I feel like perhaps if they did that with the trailer for SWTOR, you know, released it a couple of weeks before, it might have got people more in the mood to play it. But I mean, you know, I at the end of the day, this is just kind of like a strange nitpick. So
Yeah, and also I suppose with SWTOR in particular, maybe they're hedging their bets on people are in a Star Wars mood because of Book of Boba Fett already. So, you know,
true.
but yeah, I really like the trailer. I thought it's not the best. I love both of the Knights of the Fallen Empire. Is that what it's called?
I think so. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, the brothers.
Yeah, the brothers and also then the sister, which was like the next trailer that came out. I love both of those. I think those are just pure masterpieces. This one was really, really good, but I don't think it was quite as strong in the storytelling element. But you
No,
know,
I was going to agree. I think the narrative was lacking because obviously in the other trailers, it kind of comes full circle. You know, you see them start off as like I think all three of the children start off as kind of innocent, and then you get to see how they are corrupted.
mm,
And then you have that like kind of final battle, and then you know end.
yeah,
And this one, it felt very much more like, okay, so she was a child, and now she's a Jedi, and then Malgus is there,
which is hype.
and yeah, which was hype. And then he's like, "I'm going to try and corrupt you," and then end. And I was like, "Well, okay."
Yeah, I haven't played any of the story content so far. I've heard people complain that it's quite short, the story content for this one. But she's on the like splash art for this expansion, so I'm assuming she's involved in the story somehow. But yeah, I mean, I guess we'll have to wait and see. But no, I thought the trailer was pretty cool. The update, I'm not sure I'm as keen on.
Yeah, I'm interested to hear your thoughts on this because you kind of been like drip feeding me.
Yeah,
Like,
we somewhat discussed it, and I was like, I kind of want to save it for the podcast, but so I boot up the game with the update gone, and the first thing I notice is there's some abilities missing from my toolbar. And I then load up my abilities window and like, oh, have they just like disappeared and I need to reapply them? No, they've just been removed from the game. I'm like, okay, that kind of sucks. That kind of sucks having like your you know, fair enough if you're building a brand new character with this update, but when you're a level 57 Jedi Knight, no, I'm not even level 57. I literally just hit level 75 Jedi Knight. I'm a 75 level Jedi Knight. I'm like, cool. Thanks for taking away some of the movesets that have been in my character for like the last 50 levels. That feels good. And they haven't been. Some of them have been replaced with other stuff. Some of them just flat out haven't been replaced, and so that feels weird. And I guess the reason why is to encourage you to do the big thing that this update is introducing, which is the being able to play. So now, rather than having classes which have their own stories, you have origins which have their own stories. They work exactly the same as classes, but the point is you can then choose a different combat playstyle to supplement your character. So you can be a Jedi Knight, but also play like a Sith warrior or what have you.
yeah.
I don't get the point of it unless it's just like, oh, I want to play this story, but I don't like the playstyle for that class. Because you can't switch style on the fly. And as far as I can tell, you can't mix two styles either. Like, I can't take stuff from Sith Warrior and apply it to my Jedi Knight.
No.
So all I can do is go into a menu and switch then. And if you're not a subscriber, you can only do that in certain areas. If you are a subscriber, you can do it anywhere as long as you're not in combat.
I mean, going back to your initial sentence, I don't see the point unless, you know, is just to be able to play the Origin as a different class that you actually like. I think that's exactly what it's for, honestly.
Which is an okay reason, I guess.
I mean, like that is the biggest reason that I like it. Like, as I said in Discord, I think, you know, I like the fact that that's the case because, for example, another thing that I said in Discord was I was trying to remake my first Star Wars Saga Edition character in our D&D campaign, who was like primarily a Force user, um, and had like a single sort of like SWTOR lightsaber that he didn't really use that much. It was mainly just for defense.
Which is what a
And
lightsaber should be used as for a Jedi. For
yeah,
defense, never
and
attack.
but part of that was I wanted him to feel like an actual Jedi that went out and did things and help people, whatever, and was kind of a Jedi Knight. I wanted him to be a Jedi Knight. That's the way I envisioned him, not like someone that was just interested in like finding out all these like secrets and diplomacy stuff. Like I didn't really want that, and I feel like this update has given me the opportunity to play like a Jedi Knight, go through the Jedi Knight story, but also play as like a sage, which is primarily a Force wielder. And so I'm very much role play heavy in these games, which is why
I literally
prefer...
my bounty hunter literally walks like not everywhere, but like he enters a cantina and I go, I'm gonna walk through this. I'm not gonna run through this. I'm gonna walk. I'm a cool guy.
Okay, I'm not that in depth with it, but I like coming up with the story for my character. I like imagining the way that he plays, and especially the options it really gives you. That I mean, some of the options are fucking terrible. Don't get me wrong. Like
it's the classic BioWare thing of like, that's not what I thought that was gonna say.
Yeah, exactly. Like some of those options, like there was one that I pressed earlier today, and I was like, damn, I like my character just came across as such an asshole, and that's not what I meant at all.
Real quick pause. If no one's made this yet, someone should absolutely make this, and maybe it will be me if no one's made it. Someone should absolutely make that scene in the cantina from A New Hope where the guy's like, he doesn't like you. It should be like SWTOR like character choices, and he keeps on clicking like, hey, can you move over, or like, hey, what are you drinking or whatever, and then he instead goes, he doesn't like you. Just do that. It's a bit of a rip off on the Robot Chicken sketch, but whatever.
But yeah, it gives me a chance to really play the character that how I envision him, and that's what I like about this update. The thing I don't like is exactly what you said, in that what's the point in being able to then switch between them if you can't like do it on the fly and mix and match abilities? Because I mean, sure, this is what I plan on doing with it, which is at the moment with this Jedi, I'm not going to go light side or dark side. I want to play very like neutral, because that's kind of what I was going for in Star Wars Saga Edition. I wanted to maybe get a few dark side points and then be able to use a couple of dark side abilities. And I'm pretty sure my story that you were building for the character was like he was training with a master that was more like on the balanced side of the Force. And yeah, like, okay, I can switch between my light side and dark side class, but I've basically got to just choose when I want to do that. Like for like, I'm not just going to keep switching because it just takes away from it, like, so I'm thinking, okay, if I know that maybe there's a big battle coming up, a villain's just being an absolute dickhead to me or whatever, and I know that I'm going to have to fight him soon, maybe at that point, because I would be angry or something, then I'll switch over to my dark side, class and do the battle with that. But so much effort.
Yeah.
Like, I'd just rather be able to mix and match. And
at the very least, it should be a button press on the keyboard to switch. And sure, if you want to be like, oh, you can't do it mid combat, oh, subscribers can't, non-subscribers can't do it anywhere, fine. Still make it a fucking button press on the keyboard, man. I don't want to have to go into my bloody character menu, click, is it loadout, I think, and then switch my loadout. That's like 4 clicks versus a button press. And it's not like this game is also on consoles. It's on PC only. There's no limitation to how many buttons you can have. You can even do combination key presses if you're running out of keys on the keyboard, which I doubt. Like, I don't see the point in that whatsoever. And also, as you said, it should just be able to mix and match and be on the fly. But what I think is really egregious, and maybe you haven't experienced this if you're doing Jedi Knight Sith Warrior, I'm actually not doing it yet with my Jedi Knight or my Smuggler. I am doing it with my Bounty Hunter. I decided to give it a go with my Bounty Hunter, and I went Vanguard, which is rifle combat. And it gives you a free rifle that's around about the correct, gear level for you. Cool. If I switch to my Vanguard loadout, my Bounty Hunter puts both of his pistols in his inventory. If I switch to my Bounty Hunter Mercenary loadout, he takes the pistols back and puts the rifle in the inventory. So I'm just using up extra inventory spots to have this class that I'm barely ever going to use. Like, okay, I could almost understand it if I could switch it on the fly again. But again, I can't do that. So all I'm now doing is carrying around a weapon in case I feel like playing a different loadout. It's like, really? And guess what? If you want to increase your inventory space in SWTOR, you can spend, I think it's something like 25,000 credits or cartel coins.
I haven't actually switched my style in game yet. I've chosen one, but I'm not switched. But I was thinking about that because I was like, well, if I pick a totally different class, I'm gonna need totally different gear because obviously depending on what you play, you need different stat priorities and stuff.
Yeah.
And I like playing with best in slot stuff, which is why I pretty much always go back at the next level cap for adaptable armor and upgrade my gear because, like, I usually have the money to do it, and it's pretty simple. So, I don't want to have to buy a whole new set of gear that I will then also have to keep upgrading to try and switch between whenever I want.
And keep it on you.
And keep it in my inventory. And I was like, you know what? I really don't fucking want to do that. So
yeah,
I just picked, like I'm playing a Sage, and I picked Sorcerer as my other style.
Which I guess
just
is
uses...
the Sith equivalent, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I can just use my same loadout.
Yeah.
So I can basically make a copy of my loadout, and it will just switch like to that. And it would just be exactly the same. I'll just have a whole different moveset, which makes life a lot easier. But for the people with like you that wanted to do something a bit different, yeah, it fucks up.
Do you know what my response to that was? Was going, oh, and I can't switch it on the fly. There's no like keybind and rifle. Yeah. I just went, well, I'm not going to bother accessing Vanguard ever, and fuck off rifle. Like, I don't want to. The thing is, and I get it. The game's gone free to play, and it went free to play like years ago. And so the biggest way that they make money is subscribers and people spending cartel coins. It kind of sucks when it feels very, very, like, not overly pushy, but very obviously intended to push people towards getting subscription, because you both need more inventory space and you can't switch unless you're in like a canteen or like a safe rest zone, I think, or something, unless you're a subscriber. Now, I'm already a subscriber. Like, I started playing this game again, and then I probably played like 10 hours. Went, why aren't I subscribed to this again? I've already sank 10 hours in this week, and then I went and bought a subscription because I'm a shill. But it sucks that even me, who's already paying for this, can be like, I can see how you're kind of doing that. That kind of sucks. And look, at the end of the day, BioWare's owned by EA, so am I surprised? Not particularly. Am I disappointed? A little bit.
Another thing along that line that I think is kind of crappy is, I don't know if you've noticed yet, because obviously you've been playing sort of more non-Jedi Sith characters, but if you want to be able to play a Jedi but with Sith styles and vice versa, you have to have like a light 5 and dark 5 achievement before you can actually do that, unless you go to your legacy page and pay for it with credits or cartel coins.
I don't even. Was that just like light side score 5 and dark side score 5? Sorry. So like if you've picked light side and dark side options, or
I think.
okay.
Um.
Either way, that's shitty. But I'm just trying to work out. Like I don't even
Yeah.
recognize what that terminology means. So
Yeah. I think like. Yeah. I'm not sure, but what I think it is you have to like on a dark side character you have to
pick some light
go
side
full
options.
light side and get like the max light side.
The max light side.
Well, I'm assuming the max is light 5.
If it's the max, that would be ridiculous.
I'm not sure. Like, don't
Yeah,
take my
no,
word
no,
for it,
no.
because
But
like,
but maximum's a lot.
well, yeah,
Yeah, obviously. But like considering you start neutral, like my character's got my Jedi's probably got like 2/3 light side and then like maybe a 10th dark side. And he mostly picks light side options.
let me look it up quickly, because I feel like I might be chatting onto bollocks, but
But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, to be honest with you, it kind of feels similar way to Book of Boba Fett, which is like, it's not an awful update, but like it could have been so much cooler if you'd just done these things. So
yeah. Is this it? No.
the other thing while you're looking it up that sprung to mind recently while playing it, it was just a funny thought that occurred to me, is pretty much all of the base game outfits, like armor and whatever, look like shit, which again pushes people to want to buy stuff on the cartel market. I was like, oh. But then again, this like base game gear, it was in here before the cartel market was in the game, so it's not like they intentionally made stuff look like shit just to like make you pay money for the good looking stuff. No, they made stuff look like shit, and then years later they decided to make some better stuff and didn't give it out for free, which is not as bad.
Yeah, so they need to, if you want to play a Jedi and have a Sith style, you have to get something called Legacy of Sacrifice. Legacy of Sacrifice can be unlocked after reaching level 50 and Dark 5.
So I guess the question is, how does SWTOR's like dark side, light side score work?
It was what we feared. To get Dark 5, you need 100,000 dark side points, which is fucking crazy.
Yeah, I mean, you do get multiple hundreds for like some things, like picking certain options will get you like 200 or 300 light side or whatever, but still,
But
100,000 is. I guess I'm glad I'm a subscriber.
Yeah, but I mean, even as a subscriber, you can't, like, that isn't unlocked for you. You need to spend cartel credits or credits on it to unlock it. That's your only choice.
I am glad I'm in-game rich, but also glad that I don't really care about doing any of this stuff right now, so.
I mean, I bought it because I'm just stupid, but like, yeah, that's another thing, where it wants you to play so much before you can unlock something, but a lot of people, if they're impatient like me, I'm just gonna buy it. Like, I'm just gonna buy it. I'm not gonna. I'll tell you right now, I probably won't play any character enough to reach max light side or dark side.
Well, again, I'm level 75 Jedi Knight, so that's pretty fucking high level. Like, I'm doing Shadow Revan stuff, and I'm being downgraded to level 50 right now. And I majority of the time pick light side options, and I know for a fact I don't have tier 5 light side. I probably have around about tier 3 light side.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, look, I mean, that's the classic. What you just kind of touched upon, though, is the classic shitty game developer things. The same thing you complained about with Strike Force, right? Where it's like achieving stuff in the way that the game wants you to achieve it is so mind-numbingly like a lot of time or a lot of effort or just a lot of grind that the easiest way to do it is to pay money. It's the same thing with, which I think it was an Assassin's Creed game that came out recently. I don't think it was Valhalla. I think it was either Odyssey or Origins, where they were like, "Oh, you can pay for an XP booster," and it's like, I shouldn't have to pay for an XP booster in a single player RPG. Fuck off. Like,
yeah,
make your game well balanced so that I can level up at a good rate. I think they did get rid of that, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's not as hype as I hoped it would be, because what I hoped it was is like, oh cool, like this is gonna like unlock loads of different ways to like play my character and switch on the fly and be adaptive, but instead it's like, yeah, as you said, like I think this sort of fight's gonna be this, so I'll switch to this, which is not as exciting. So
I mean, what you're saying about, you know, having a hotkey to switch between them and whatever, like I just kind of had images of like actual like lightsaber forms and everything. You know, like imagine like being in battle and you're like using your Jedi abilities and whatever, and like I'm just kind of imagining, you know, like the Obi-Wan type of style where he like puts his lightsaber above his head and everything, and you know, doing all the light side abilities, and then just hitting a key and suddenly your dark side moveset comes up. You switch lightsaber form into, you know, like this sort of like Dooku sort of dueling style, and then you're like blasting them with lightning and stuff. Like that would have been so fucking cool.
100%.
And it just isn't.
Or like 8 guys are coming at me as my bounty hunter. I jump up into my jetpack, shoot loads of rockets at them, land, get out my assault rifle. Like, yeah, exactly. Would have been so cool. Also, the lightsaber form thing. I know that you don't particularly like this game, but the lightsaber form thing you were just talking about it's in Jedi Knight, Jedi Outcast, and Jedi Academy.
Yeah, I do know that.
But yeah, no, I think, yeah, exactly. That's what I wish this update had been. And to be fair, maybe they were very transparent about it not being that. I didn't pay that much attention to what they were talking. I heard them saying, "Oh, we're gonna do this." I was like, "Oh, that's cool," and I didn't pay much attention beyond that. So it might not be that they were being shady about it or anything. I'm not accusing them of that, but I booted it up thinking it was going to be one thing and it wasn't, and I was disappointed. Also, with the way it is, there's no reason to remove abilities that were already in the game, in my opinion. If you can't switch on the fly, then there's no balancing issues with leaving the abilities the way they were. So
No, I agree, and also I feel like in a way they've actually removed a lot of customizability from the game, because I mean, maybe I just haven't found it yet, but for the life of me I cannot find the utility point thing. You'd used to get utility points, and then you could basically like upgrade some of your abilities and stuff. So like you could spend a utility point on, you know, like reducing the cooldown of a certain ability, or
so I was reading about this now. It locks you into certain progression paths now, is what I've read about. So that is probably what's happened there, is that you maybe haven't gotten to that point yet with your character, or you're playing an older character, you're already locked into some path. Although how I determined that, like, I don't know. It's what's really telling, and my bounty hunter is not that high level. I think he's like level 20 or something, maybe, if that. But he doesn't have enough mercenary bounty hunter abilities to fill up his toolbar anymore, because they took away like 3 of them. So yeah.
Oh, well. It I don't hate the update. I think the idea of combat styles is cool, and as I said, I like the ability to be able to play whatever class I want, well, within reason, obviously, with whatever origin story I want, within reason. But I think there's also just been so many slip ups. And also, another thing that I wanted to talk about was, I know you've said that you've not really experienced any bugs or anything, but
No,
I
I've
have.
I've experienced one, which is the God, I've forgotten what it is now. You go ahead. I'll try and remember what my bug was, but I have
Yeah.
experienced a bug.
So the main bug that I want to talk about, which was so infuriating to me, because I ended up spending money on this to try and fix it.
Oh yeah.
The outfitter. So for those of you that haven't played or just don't bother transmogging your gear very much, the way it works in SWTOR is you can drag and drop different pieces of gear onto your outfit slot. So, effectively, you're wearing a certain gear set, but it looks like something else. That's just the lowdown of basic sort of transmog in games. In SWTOR, however, you can dye your gear, which is great. Like most gear can be dyed. I'm pretty sure maybe all of it can.
Yeah, I believe all of it can. Yeah.
And you can go to
Well,
the
sorry, all armor, not all weapons. Some weapons
yeah
can have like lasers or whatever dye, but not all. I don't think.
like weapons can have tunings
Yeah.
and like lightsaber crystal or just crystal
Yeah.
things. But yeah, armor pieces generally you can dye them, so you can go to like the Cartel Bazaar, which is the in-game market, and you know wait, no, that's not right.
You can buy stuff off the cartel market for cartel coins, or there's I think it's literally just called the galactic market on
Yeah,
the
the galactic market. That's what I was trying to get at.
yeah.
So yeah, you can get it in game, with credits at the galactic market, or you can get it from the cartel market, which is like paid for money. So usually how it works, if you want to dye your gear, you can drag and drop it onto whichever piece of gear you want, and then once it's on there, it's permanent. If you can't remove it. If you try and remove it, it's gone. You've lost it. And also the way it works is you can unify colors. So
To
in
your
order to
chest
do
piece, right?
this, yeah, to your chest piece. So in order to do this, you basically drag on the chest piece that you want, and then drag all the other stuff on. You save it, and then you click unify colors, and all the other like pieces of gear will become the same color scheme as your chest piece. Now this should work the same way if you then add dye to your chest piece and then hit unify colors. It should all go to that new color scheme.
Saving you from having to buy the dye for each individual piece of armor.
Exactly. You can also untick unify colors on each piece of gear. So if you want to, mix and match colors and everything, or like, say you have a black and white dye. So everything at the moment is black and white. Say the base color of your boots, though, are brown, and you want those boots to be brown, but the rest of you to be black and white, you can untick unify color on the boots, and they'll go back to brown. That's how it should work. Now, the issue I was having was I would stamp my chest piece, and it would automatically unify all of the colors. And no matter how many times I unticked them and press save, it wouldn't ununify the colors, which is infuriating. And I would even try and like take my chest piece off, switch it to a different one, unify the colors again, and it would do the same thing. It would just unify all the colors. I couldn't not have them unified. And like, in order to be able to fix this, I had to buy an extra outfit slot. You only get one in base game. Even if you're a subscriber, you only get one single outfit slot. In order to get more, you have to pay for them, which is shit. You should at least have like 2 or 3 to be able to switch from.
I'm just smiling because all of my characters have like at least 3. Which just shows how much of a shill I am spending money to make my character look pretty.
Well, you see, like, I never really needed it, because usually I settle on a style that I want like pretty early on, and if I want to change something, I literally just, change the one outfit slot.
All of my characters except for my bounty hunter have a winter gear outfit slot for when they go to Hoth.
Oh my god.
My bounty hunter will probably get one, but he hasn't gone to Hoth yet, so he doesn't need one.
But yeah, so in order to fix this bug, because also it just wouldn't let me like, it wouldn't like let me change around my gear. It would just like save it as the gear that I had on previously. In order to fix this, I had to buy another outfit slot, and I had to be very careful with the order that I put things on in case it happened again. And that shouldn't be happening.
Yeah.
Like, I spent way longer trying to do that than need be, and now I'm scared of changing it whatsoever in case, it unifies all the colors and everything, and it just fucks up. Because like, I've I showed you guys what my character looks like in the Discord, and since then I also dyed my trousers, so I have 2 pieces of gear that are dyed now, and I really don't want it to unify all the colors to the chest piece, because at that point I've basically just wasted money on that other dye, and I think that's terrible.
Yeah.
I don't understand how it could have gone that wrong from this update.
Yeah, I don't know. Luckily the bug I've had, it was only the one time, because it's just to do with the loadouts, which I have given up using. But it was that when I switched loadouts, my abilities would reshuffle, and some of them would remove off of my loadout, or not my loadout, my abilities quickbar, which is fucking annoying and makes me want to use the loadouts even less. But I'm not using them, so that's not a problem. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, hopefully that stuff will get patched out, and frankly, if you spend money on it, you should really be entitled for a refund for the money you spent. But let's just put it this way: Star Wars: The Old Republic's customer service is less than stellar, because basically, from my understanding, EA went, not enough people play this game for us to have a dedicated customer service team for them. So I remember one time I had to contact them to sort out my login details, and I literally couldn't get in touch with someone who could do it because they didn't have a dedicated team. So I ended up spamming, I think, Battlefield 4's. That's not. Is that a game? Battlefield 4? That is a game. Yeah, spamming the forums to be like, hey, I just need to access my account, and you're not sending the fucking email. So yeah. Oh well.
Yeah, I can't say much about the story because I'm still just trying to work my way through all of the base stories for the different classes before I move on to expansions.
Yeah. On the subject of Star Wars, though, I've finished my rewatch of Book of Boba Fett with my mother.
Mm.
And I will say, having rewatched it all, I'm feeling more okay with it than I was before. Including the finale, I don't feel as reactionary to it as I did after having seen it the first time. However, this was without me prompting her. My mum went, oh, so Boba and that blue guy had a history, did they? And I went, yep. And she goes, they never showed us that in the shows. Am I forgetting something from the movies? And I went, nope. She went, oh. So where did they have their history? And I went, well, there's an animated show called The Clone Wars, which you've never watched and you probably never will because she doesn't like animation, which featured the blue guy, Cad Bane, and it featured Boba Fett. And they have one scene together where they're in prison together. And Cad Bane nods at Boba Fett and Boba Fett nods back. I looked it up, by the way. That's the one interaction they have in Clone Wars. And then I explained to her the animatic, and she went, oh, it's not very satisfying, is it? And I went, glad you said that, Mum.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
my mother, who is in her 60s, agrees with us on and that was kind of the point I was making after the finale, was like, is it gonna be satisfying to people who don't know the character? And then even people who have seen the Clone Wars, if you haven't seen the animatic, which I'm not even sure was officially released, I think it was leaked. Like, some of them were officially released. I don't know whether that one was. Anyways, it's an animatic on the it's not in the actual show, in any show. So it's I don't know. I mean, hopefully they'll expand on it officially, but just that's weird. And she was like, I said, did that ruin it for you? And she went, no, it's weird. I went, yeah, cool.
I mean, it wasn't really what they did with Cad Bane that ruined it for me. It was like that was just disappointing to me more than anything. It was just the overall, like, it just felt so rushed to me. It just felt like it was a non-story. That was what my problem with the show was.
My biggest problem, and I'm worried of rehashing stuff we went through last week when you went on, but obviously you haven't talked about it on the podcast. But my biggest problem with it is just pure and simple, not realizing on its potential and ignoring the Mando stuff for a moment, because the Mando stuff's mostly fine. I'm not a huge fan of him already being back with Grogu, but whatever. There was so much interesting stuff that they set up with Boba Fett and the Tuskens. And okay, I've seen some people go, and I do agree with this, that the payoff on all of that is that Boba manages to defeat Cad Bane by using the gaffy stick, and also showing, therefore, that looking out for other people is worthwhile. I get that. I don't think it could have been so much better if they had spent both more time with the Tuskens and also had the death be a bigger deal than it was. Because I'm sorry, Cad Bane being like, hey, did you know that the Pikes were responsible? And then Boba Fett being like, I'm angry now, is not really that good of a payoff.
I think, yeah, I think another issue I have with that is it is set up that the Pikes were the ones to kill the Tusken Raiders and everything, right? And I mean, the whole show was heading towards this war. And so realistically, the Pikes should have been the big bad guys. Well, Cad Bane's not really in it much. He has that one scene at the end of episode 6. And then he just shows up in the middle of the street to fight Boba.
No,
twice.
He shows up in the middle of the street to bully Boba, and then he goes away for like half an hour. And then he shows up in the middle of the street to fight Boba.
Yeah, to just to fight him. But
when also Boba's basically already won at that point. Like, I know Cad Bane might have like a thing against Boba and whatever. Pick your moment, dude.
Like, imagine if he actually came out before all that started happening, and him and Boba were having a fight for like the majority of it. It was kind of like this back and forth, and then maybe they each got kind of like taken away from each other, and then they came back for the clash at the end, and then once all the fighting like around them had stopped, then they have this showdown. And imagine people watching it, it's Boba versus like Cad, nobody getting involved, and then like he finally manages to kill him. That would have been so much better.
Or
But
even just when the fight got batshit crazy, Boba saw like classic medieval battle where the two knights or kings or whatever on either side, they see each other across the battlefield. The Dark Knight fucking does this, right? When like Batman and the police show up to fight Bane and his men, and Batman and Bane see each other across the battlefield, and what do they start doing? They start fighting their way through the battlefield to get to each other because they've got shit to deal with. And then, as you said, have them separate. Then we've got to build that tension back up, sort of thing. But I don't know.
Yeah. Like the Pikes should have been the big bad guys because they were the ones that were like fucking over the town. They're the ones that killed the Tusken Raiders, and Cad Bane was only in it just to basically tell Boba Fett, haha, you suck, and also the Pikes killed the Tuskens. That was it. Like, he wasn't the big bad guy. He was just on their payroll.
Also, though, he was there for that amazing line that amazing exchange where he goes, "I'm still faster than you." And Boba goes, "Maybe, but I have armor." At the end of the day, I think the most important thing was the show entertaining? Yes. I would say probably about 80% of that show is entertaining and fun and a good Star Wars time. But as I said, same sort of feel as the Old Republic's new expansion. It could have been so much better with not even a lot of tweaks. I think my biggest thing would have been, don't just fridge the Tuskens. Don't just kill them off for the sake of killing them off and progressing Boba's story. Have the little kid or the girl who was totally, she and Boba had a thing, totally. Have one of them have survived and show up and have them have some sort of character progression. I also think,
or have them executed by Cad Bane or something.
Or yeah, exactly, maybe. But like, I think the other thing, you said the Pikes should be the main villain. Well, the problem with picking the Pikes as the main villain is the Pikes so far in Star Wars have been masked, interchangeable aliens, and then they take their masks off sometimes in Book of Boba Fett, and they've got fish faces, but they all look the same underneath the helmet as well, which is, I guess, a limitation of the design. But like, at least, and I'm not necessarily saying the twins would have made in every single way better villains, but at least the twins have some form of an identity, right?
I guess, but I mean, saying that, the Pikes had a leader.
They had a leader who we don't know the name of, and
exactly. But that's what I'm saying. Like, the Pikes would have been a really good villain for him to take down because of everything they were doing, if they weren't just faceless. If they'd actually given the leader a name, and because he was the one that was conferring with the mayor of the town and what have you.
Mm-hmm.
If they'd actually given him a name and they showed him orchestrating these things, either through flashbacks, which I wouldn't have exactly liked, but I would have preferred it to what we got, and then had him have motivations or something, and then have Cad Bane do something that really, fucks off Boba, because sure, he killed Cobb Vanth, but that more upset Mando than Boba, really. All that was doing was delaying his backup. But if he'd actually taken someone that he had a history with and did something, then it would have built him up to be a bigger villain and also, the leader of the Pikes. And then you could have had Boba trying to fight his way to him, and he has to get through Cad Bane to do that, who is physically a bigger threat than him, rather than having him just kill Cad Bane and then have Fennec Shan just nip off and just, murder everyone in the room and then just end series. It just felt I don't even know how it felt. It just didn't feel great.
It just felt like there could have been so much more there.
Yeah.
And, as I say, at the end of the day, did I enjoy it? Yes. Did my mum enjoy it? Yes. And I would say I'm probably harder to please when it comes to Star Wars than my mum. But, yeah, it could have been a lot more. And you could argue that any media, any story could be better. in theory, sure.
Well,
But
yeah.
but
Some it's more glaringly obvious.
yeah, like the good stuff, you're not really consciously aware of. Oh, needs improvement, sort of thing. You know. So I don't know. Yeah,
That's the Book of Boba
that's
Fett.
the book of Boba Fett, and that's my mum's update. Maybe from time to time on this podcast, we'll do a little segment of Pete's mum's thoughts on a thing that they've already watched.
um, what else? What else is next? I guess next on the list is Bioshock.
Yeah, so I didn't. I don't know if I did know that Netflix had the rights to Bioshock or not. I feel like I did, but also I feel like I didn't. But anyways, Netflix Geeked, which is the geeky sub account or whatever, tweeted out, "We all make choices, but in the end, our choices make us," which is a quote from Bioshock, but I can't remember whether it's Andrew Ryan who says that or whether it's Elizabeth who says that. It's one of the two, because they're both the sorts of people to say that shit, but I can't remember which one, unless it's from Bioshock 2, in which case, fuck me, I'm completely wrong. I feel like it's probably Andrew Ryan, but anyways. And then it says, Netflix plus Bioshock, would you kindly stay tuned? That's literally all they did, and they tweeted out the cover art for the original game. So they're just announcing, if they hadn't already announced, that they are making a Bioshock thing, TV show, movie, anime. Well, I guess anime is a TV show, but you know what I mean. But yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
So my history with Bioshock goes as follows. Never played the first Bioshock. I played a lot of Bioshock 2 online, which I very much loved. Never played single player. Started to play Bioshock Infinite, couldn't really get into it.
Fair.
So really the only knowledge I have about the game is that in Bioshock 2 online, you could shoot bees at people.
I think you can do that in one as well. Have you do you know the twist to Bioshock 1?
I think I might have read a lot about the history of Bioshock, but I can't remember. It was a while ago.
That might be content to get you to play Bioshock 1. I genuinely think Bioshock 1 has one of the best twists in gaming, to the point I nearly did an essay in college on Bioshock, and its narrative twist is so good. And and this is what I was going to bring up. I kind of don't want to talk about it too much now because I want you to experience it. But the twist is so good, but it's also so elevated by the medium that it's in, being a video game, that you could do it in a TV show and it would work in a TV show as a twist, but it would lose some of that impact. And I can't really say more without spoiling it. So I'm like, on the one hand, I'm like, that's cool. But on the other hand, I'm like, kind of don't want you to redo the stories, though. Do your own story within Rapture, or I guess if you want to, it's not Columbus, is it? No. What's the city called in Bioshock Infinite? It's something like Columbus, but I don't think it is Columbus. I can't spell today at all. Columbia. That's pretty close. Yeah, so like if you want to tell your own story within that, cool. But I kind of don't just want to see a rehash of the first game's story, because that's brilliant on its own. And I kind of also don't want to see a rehash of Infinite's story, because that's brilliant on its own. Shoot me if you don't agree with me, it's fine. So yeah, I'm excited to see something within that world, but I kind of don't just want to see a straight adaptation. Also, video game adaptations, they always work. I haven't seen Uncharted, but the reviews are mixed. But
yeah, I mean, as someone who hasn't, played the stories of the games, I'm interested to see what they're doing. If they did just, make a series or film version of, the games, I I'd watch them. I think I know round about the concept of the games, and I like the concept. So it'd be interesting to watch. But also maybe I will play it for the channel. So
Yeah, I mean, I think what is a brilliant opportunity. I was just thinking as well. One of the biggest issues, particularly with a game like Bioshock, is that with any video game, the difficulty, right, is adapting potentially the narrative, but particularly the experience of 8, 10, 12, 20, 30, 40 hours of gameplay and succincting that into either a 2-hour movie or, I don't know, like an 8-hour TV show or whatever. That's fucking tough to do. It's tough to do with any game. That's particularly tough to do with what Bioshock is, which is what is known as an immersive sim. So much of Bioshock's story, not necessarily the narrative of the actual plot, but the world and everything, all the themes that they're trying to get across, is either told or expanded upon in diary notes, journal notes, audio logs, all of that stuff that you explore the map, you find those, you listen to those, you read those, and it enriches the experience. And you can't do any of that in a movie, well, you can, but like barely any of that in a movie or a TV show. So you'd lose out on all of that context and that subtext of what happened to Rapture and exactly how it fell apart. And then as I was having that thought, I went, well, why don't you just do a TV show about the fall of Rapture? Like, there you go. You've got the world of Bioshock there, but you've got your own story to tell that hasn't fully been, like, it's been hinted at and somewhat explored, but not fully. And that, to me, is like a perfect TV show concept of, oh, I want to explore the political ideas of Bioshock, and I also want to explore the world of Bioshock. Boom. Show the actual fall of Rapture, which Rapture is the underwater city in the first 2 Bioshocks. So, that's how I would tackle it. Netflix, if you're listening, hire me. I'll work for you for like 29 grand. I don't get paid a lot at the moment, so yeah. But no, I mean, I'm it's the duality for me with seeing things like any video game adapted into a movie or a TV show where it's big budget. Is there's the really cool thing of seeing this thing that you love and that you've experienced a lot brought into live action and being like, oh my god, that's what it would look like in the real world. But also, you didn't live up to the hype of the game. So, like, I'm excited to see Rapture, but if they tell me that they're adapting the first game, I'm worried. So
that's fair, I think.
cool.
But yeah.
The Boys Diabolical.
This I find interesting. For those of you that don't know what it is or might not have seen it, because it kind of went under the radar. Like I found the trailer, but like I've not seen any articles about it and I've not seen anything about it since. So they're making an animated The Boys series, but it's not about
The Boys.
I don't think it is about the boys. It is set in the boys' world, but it's kind of doing what they did with Star Wars Visions. And each episode is animated by different people. So it's like an anthology of stories set in the boys' world. And I know the one that stood out most to me was Justin Roiland is doing an episode. So it's got like the whole Rick and Morty style of things. I think this is going to be interesting. I'm not 100% sold on it, but like, it's a cool idea.
Oh, gee, Homelander, why'd you kill all those people?
Yeah, it's I think it's going to be difficult going from like what we've seen of the show, which is sometimes, obviously it's a funny show, but also they do have like the serious moments where it shows Homelander or perhaps
Starlight.
no, what's the Nazi woman?
Storm something.
Yeah, I can't remember, but anyway,
The
either
Nazi
of
lady.
those two, yeah. When Homelander and the Nazi lady does something incredibly fucked up, like it has that shock value, and it does like give you a moment to just be like, oh my god, and I don't imagine that Justin Roiland is going to stray from his style of comedy,
Mm.
which is worrying because while I love that style of comedy, I don't think that really fits with the boys. And I mean, I guess you can just look at it as like maybe it's, sort of non canon and it is just like a few fun episodes just as something extra. But like, yeah, it's slightly worrying.
Yeah, I guess if you view it similar to like Star Wars Visions, though, there's plenty of content there that I didn't personally gel with. Um, and I guess that could be the same thing where like, oh, if you're not a huge fan of Justin Roiland's humor, or you don't think it fits with boys, that episode won't be for you. But someone who's a massive fan of Justin Roiland's humor and doesn't necessarily care too much about how it fits in with the boys' style can maybe really enjoy the episode. I guess that's not the worst, particularly if it's non-canon. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I think it would be something cool to see at least. I mean, I very much like the idea of giving animators the chance to work on different projects, and like I'd like to see more of these anthologies of episodes and stuff. I think it's a really cool idea.
that's literally what I was going to say. Is I would love to see more shows do this sort of thing where it's just it's like it's basically in a way it's taking these big budget studio. I don't know how big budget they are, but like professional budget studios, shall we say, and giving them a chance to do a fan film with the IP's blessing. That's pretty cool. Because usually when you see a Star Wars fan film, they can be really good, but you can tell that they're a fan film, and particularly when they're live action. But like with Star Wars Visions, that's like professional anime studios, but being given the permission to do whatever the hell they want within Star Wars, and that's cool to see. So, and so yeah, if more IPs start doing that, that's cool. That's cool with me. Real quick, actually, talking about animation, but sorry, did you want to do anything else on the boys or?
No, I think I'm pretty much done. Really, there's not much to talk about. I don't think until it comes out.
Fair enough. So I don't know if you saw before the Bioshock stuff that I posted. There's a shot from the Doctor Strange trailer, the new Doctor Strange trailer, which we discussed last week. Where they're like breaking through dimensions, and there's one dimension that they're falling into, which looks to be both animated, and you particularly see a traffic cone there. And I made the joke of like, oh, maybe they're just falling into an unfinished render where they haven't done the CGI yet. But it does look like they're falling into like a different animation style, which that's going to be interesting. And it doesn't really, it's pretty brief, but it doesn't particularly look like the What If animation style. Also, the traffic cone, I'm assuming, is a reference to VLC Media Player, which is like one of the major media players you can get out there, which is its logo is an orange traffic cone. But yeah, it's going to be interesting potentially to see the MCU actually like, and I guess What If is canon, but it's going to be interesting to see them do like an actual animation in a live action movie. And I kind of hope that if we do that, maybe this movie will only have one, but I'd love to see, I've said this before, I'd love to see something like Into the Spider-Verse 2, have them fall into the MCU if they're falling through other animation styles and that sort of thing. Like, have fun with it,
Yeah, no, I think that'll be pretty cool. I'm not so sure if they'll. I think if it was any other movie, I would probably say, yeah, it's probably likely to happen. I think the only thing that kind of makes me second guess that with this is that it's meant to be more of a horror film.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it
while it
literally could be like a 2 second falling through an animated world and then back into another world sort of thing.
Yeah, I think if it does happen, I think that is probably more likely. I don't think we will see much of it, and I don't think there'll be any interaction
Or this is just the biggest brain idea ever of how to not show another realm that they're going to, because like particularly Marvel trailers, they like hide stuff or change stuff or animate stuff that's not actually in the movie. Classic example, Infinity War had Hulk charging in like armor at the end of the trailer, and Hulk's basically not in Infinity War at all. Maybe someone went, "Oh, we can't show that realm. That's a bit of a spoiler," and then someone else just went, "Just delete all, like hide all of the renders on the like the I don't know what to describe it as, the layers, I guess. Like just hide all the layers of the render." And then when people are trying to work out what it is, they're going to an animated, unrendered universe. Big brain.
Yeah, it could be possible. Yeah, I think it's probably unlikely that we'll see much of it, even if we do.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, the way it is composited in, well, not composited in the trailer, but the way it like presented in the trailer, it looks like they're falling through multiple realities in quick succession, sort of thing. So I reckon it might just be like something like the first time that America Chavez uses her powers, or like we see her powers, and it's like, oh shit, and then we're into the next sequence of the film, whatever.
I don't actually know what her powers are. I don't know much about America Chavez.
She can like create portals to other dimensions is basically the gist of it. So she's probably going to be a pretty major part. Well, she is going to be a pretty major part of Multiverse of Madness, but like that power fits very neatly into multiverse shenanigans. So, but yeah, Stranger Things 4. I don't actually know. Have you seen or do you watch Stranger Things?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Oh yes.
So, Stranger Things 4, they announced two things. First of all, they announced that it's going to be split into 2 acts or 2 books or 2 chapters. I can't remember what they exactly refer to it as. But volumes, there we go. So Volume 1 is going to be coming out on May 27th, and Volume 2 is coming out July 1st. So more or less a month in between the 2 volumes. So they're going to drop everything in Volume 1 in one go and then everything in Volume 2. So I don't think they've announced how big the volumes are, but they have said it's a bigger season than a longer season than any previous season. So I'm guessing we're getting quite a big chunk each time. So that's cool. The other thing they announced was that apparently when they initially started this show, they planned for it to have a 4-season arc, and apparently when making season 4. They couldn't fit all of the story they want to tell into season 4. So there's going to be a 5th season.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. But the big thing is the character poster, or not the character, the posters that they've revealed. So do we want to talk through those real quick?
Sure thing. Let me have a look.
So the first one has Hopper in a prison in Russia. I think they'd already revealed that in the teaser trailer that he was still alive. Everyone kind of knew that he was still alive, but yeah, he's in a gulag in Russia, where there is also an upside down portal thing.
I heard that they're experimenting on him and they give him a shield and a suit.
I mean, it was kind of weird that he got cast in a Russian prison, but yeah, maybe not. Maybe there might be a reference. Who knows? There was a reference in Men in Black 4, Men in Black International, where at one point Chris Hemsworth's character picks up and throws a tiny hammer and doesn't do anything. So, and that's made by a different studio, so maybe. But yeah, they're walking towards like a upside down portal thing in the prison. 2 other characters, both of which I don't recognize. I don't think they're characters that we know. But yeah, and the prison looks in disarray. There's some blood and some like fallen down fences and what have you.
It could be. I mean, at a guess, I don't think it is, because I don't know why they would be in the gulag too. But it could be Will's mum and that bearded bald guy that knows Russian, the weird one.
Yeah, I mean, the guy on the right does kind of look bald, and I assume that is the woman on the left. It does kind of give me Will's mum's vibes. So I do, like, without you even having said that, I was thinking like that could be Will's mum, who is blanking on her name.
Yeah.
Something
I know she's
Myers.
played by Winona Ryder, but I
Yes.
can't remember her name in the show.
Yeah. But yeah, the guy on the right, it could be that guy. You know who it's kind of, the profile's kind of reminding me of is the guy who plays, what's his name? The scientist dude who then becomes a computer in Captain America.
Oh, not Zemo.
Yeah, that's who I was thinking at
Oh
first.
my
It's not
god,
Zemo.
I swear we've gone through this exact same thing before on the podcast when neither of us can remember the guy's name. Oh, I don't want to know. I want to.
I'm gonna Google it, but I won't
remember
tell
it.
you what it is.
Yeah. Oh shit. Arnim Zola.
That's it. You got there before I
Yeah.
even finished Googling computer guy Captain America.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of looks like the actor who plays Armin Zola, which I don't think
It
he's
does a
been
bit.
in Stranger Things yet, so I don't know why it would be him, but it could be. Who knows? Maybe he's been sneakily cast and they put him in the poster, but I don't think it is. But yeah, that's the first one, and the only thing really of note, because I'm gonna analyze something that other people have done this. I don't know who started this, but someone else analyzed and noticed something in the poster. I'm gonna bring it up. It's not me who noticed it, but I'm going to go through the same analysis just in case you don't know this yet. So Hopper is looking over to the left, over his shoulder, at the woman. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The next poster is of the lab, and I assume that's supposed to be 11. She's got quite long hair, but I think we've seen her with that hair in the teaser trailer they put out last year. It also makes the most sense that 11 would be the one back at the lab. Hold on. I might need to zoom and enhance. There's something in the poster that I hadn't noticed before. On the right hand side. Oh, I'm making so much mess with the recording. There's someone's face in the poster. Is that just the person? Oh, that's a mirror. It's a mirror of younger 11. Never mind. I got really excited there. I was like, who is that?
Oh yeah, shit. What the fuck?
I think that's supposed to be younger 11 when I look at things.
Yeah, I didn't notice that before.
No, neither did I.
It's crazy.
Okay, so that's that one. And then the one after that, this is the one that I've done. Well, I haven't done. I've seen people do the big brain analysis, and I agree with the big brain analysis. Is it's got the main gang, should we call them at the moment? The people left in... Fuck, what was the town's name?
I can't fucking remember.
It's been like 2 years since Stranger Things 3,
Yeah.
right? Like, I'm pretty sure Stranger Things 3 came out before the pandemic. So, I was about to say Westview, but that's fucking One Division, isn't it?
Yeah.
Whatever town they're from. I swear we are Stranger Things fans. But it's everyone except for the Byers because they all moved to California, as we were shown in the teaser trailer. So they're all walking in what's been confirmed to be Creel House, and we saw a brief teaser trailer that implied there was going to be a haunted house sort of narrative in this season. So it's them walking through what looks like the attic or something of Creel House towards both. All of them are walking towards a portal to the upside down, but this one also has a grandfather clock in the background, and the caption says Creel House TikTok. However, here's the analysis for you, Alex. I don't know if you've seen this or not.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's looking either forward, where they're headed in all of these posters, or they're looking to another character, except for Max. Max is looking directly at the camera. Now, if you go back and look at the Stranger Things 3 poster, do you know who's looking at the camera?
Is it Max?
No, it's 11. If you go back and look at the Stranger Things 2 poster, where a certain character was possessed, do you know who's looking at the camera of the poster?
Is it Will?
Yeah. So do we think Max might be possessed or have some weird powers going on this season?
Possibly.
I think that's a pretty big clue there, that characters who seem to have some link to the Upside Down are the ones looking at the camera, because they're almost like breaking the fourth wall of the poster. And we've had 4 posters drop on, or 5 posters, I guess, drop on the same day, and only one character's looking at the camera in it, which is Max. So something weird's going to be going on with Max. I'm fucking calling it.
I will hold you to it.
Also, the girl next to Dustin, people are theorizing that that's Dustin's girlfriend from the end of season 3, hanging out with the gang in person.
I think it's
I think I know who you're going to say now, because I'm looking at it and I think you're right.
I can't remember his name.
Lucas, I think.
Yeah, his sister.
Yeah, it could be Lucas's sister now that I'm looking at it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's his sister, Maya. Is that her name in the show, or is that her?
I don't know. But then, who are the two at the very front? Because one of them's Nancy.
Yeah, and the other one is Steve's friend from
Oh,
Chip's
yeah,
Boy.
of course. Yeah. No, you're right. Okay, we've done the analysis in that one. Cool. The next one is California, which features not the buyers. No, what am I talking about? The buyers weren't the ones who moved to California, were they? Or was it? It was Will's family who moved. No, it was.
I don't know any of their names anymore.
No, it wasn't. It was the buyers who moved to California, but Will isn't in the poster that's back in Hawkins. Hawkins is the name of the town.
Hawkins, yeah.
So Mike isn't in the poster for the gang in Hawkins, and then Mike looks to be in the poster for California, because there's a long-haired guy in a green jacket. That's Mike, gotta be. But the buyers are the ones who are in California. That's what we were shown in the teaser trailer, and at the end of season 3 was the buyers. So Will's mum, who we can't remember the name of, Winona Ryder, adopted 11, and then the buyers moved to California. And then Mike and her are being pen pals. So Mike's in California in that poster, it looks like. And then Will's also there. But where's Will's older brother, Jonathan? He's not in that poster, it doesn't look like. Unless he's the one at the very front.
Isn't that the... Yeah, I thought he was the one at the front.
Maybe.
But then who's...
I mean, that could be a lady, though. That's the only thing. Like, I genuinely can't tell who the person in the front is. That could be a woman. Could be Jonathan, but he's got quite a bit longer hair than he normally has, and looks a bit more poofy than it normally is. But I don't know. It could be. And then that presumably is a new character on the left. Because 11's not in that poster, I don't think.
No.
And then the final poster is all of them combined together, and it's like 2 up, 1 upside down, 2 on the side, 1 the right way up. Shall I enhance it so it's bigger so I can look at it more?
The way that the person on the left is walking looks really strange to me. Like, that's an optical illusion. I keep thinking she's walking towards the camera.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. No, that, having zoomed in, I'm pretty sure that is Jonathan in the front. He's just got a mullet now.
Yeah.
But
that's some like the Ring Girl type shit. She's just got like her hair like in front of her face, and she's walking towards the camera.
That would be a hell of a reveal if I went, Max is the only one looking at the camera, and secretly we got the girl from the Ring also not just looking at camera, walking to the camera. But no, I'm assuming that's a California person. Also, just saying, I wouldn't be surprised if that person's a guy, and it's just like the hippie phase of having super long hair.
It could be, yeah.
Like, it's, I don't know, it fits the surfer dude vibes, and there is a surfer boy pizza van in the shot as well. But yeah, I think these are cool. I think there's just enough little hints to be like, ooh, let me look. Particularly now I've noticed that's Mike in the poster for the California one. I'm like, Mike's not in California as far as we know. And then 11 is in California, but 11's in the lab poster, which is back in Hawkins.
Hmm.
So there's going to be some interesting stuff going on there. Maybe he goes to go find her when stuff starts going wrong, but she comes back to Hawkins, and yeah, I don't know. But yeah, so May and July, about a month's gap between the two volumes. I think that's an interesting way to do it. I don't mind it. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if some people are annoyed that they're splitting up, but I don't mind it. I feel like that gives them the opportunity to build hype. It's kind of like we're getting 2 seasons in one, is the way I'm kind of viewing it. So, yeah.
Yeah. I hope this season they kill 11 off.
I mean, I don't think they will, just because they've said they're going to do 5 seasons now, but I honestly wouldn't be surprised if 11 ends up dying in the show, but I don't think they'll kill her off before the final season. But
I just think she's the worst character.
I think 11 is a really interesting character in season 1 and has become a less interesting character as time has gone on, and other characters have become more interesting as time's gone on because we've gotten to know them better. And I think a prime example of that is Steve is probably one of the least interesting and worst characters in season 1, and Steve is by far one of the best characters in the show at this point. So.
Oh yes. Anyone that disagrees is just lying.
But yeah, so yeah, I don't think she's a bad character, but I think with the air of mystery about her having gone, she isn't as interesting as she was before, and I feel like they haven't replaced her. The characterization that they kept with her going is the weird outsider girl, but at this point she spent several years around other people that it's weird that she's not more like them.
Yeah, and
it's
also,
just gone a bit old. Like, it feels like she hasn't grown as much as the other characters because of it.
Yeah, exactly. And also, like, I feel like they're still trying to make her the main character when they just don't need to. Like, all of the other characters are just as interesting. They could, maybe have her do a couple of bits and bobs, but it still feels like it's revolving around her when she isn't necessarily the only link to the Upside Down anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I think you got to keep her important, but yeah, I don't know. I do think as well. I feel the need now to rewatch all of it. But now that I'm rethinking it, I do remember not super loving season 3. Like, I liked stuff in season 3, but overall, I don't remember liking it that much. So.
I mean, I'd say the best parts are, everything to do with Steve.
Yeah.
And also Billy. I thought Billy was a really great part of season 3.
Billy's Max's brother, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's good. But yeah, no, I'm definitely excited for it. It's been a while. Like, as I say, it's probably been like 2 to 3 years since season 3. So I'm excited to see what they've been cooking this whole time. Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah, I am pretty bloody excited for this most recent update because they have finally brought in barbarians. Now, I haven't had a chance to play them yet, but looking at the patch notes and everything, the fact that you have the ability to be able to throw goblins, that is insane to me.
I didn't know that, but throwing stuff is my favorite mechanic in Baldur's Gate 3, so now I'm incredibly excited. But also, I don't want to play Barbarian because I know you want to play Barbarian.
You can just like
I can get the I can live through you. I can live precariously through you.
I think that's great. I think like they're making massive steps towards like coming close to finishing the game.
Well, they recently announced, I can't remember what avenue it was or who it was, but it was someone at what's the studio that makes Baldur's Gate called?
Larian.
They recently said that this would be the final year of development for Baldur's Gate 3, which does not necessarily mean it's coming out this year. It probably means 2023, but maybe Q1 2023. But yeah, so it does feel like they're getting close to the end. I don't know how much story content they've added since then, because I literally played it when they first released it, got to the end of the story stuff, went, that was really fun, and kind of went, and I want to wait till the game's out. But as I kind of said in the Discord, if you're planning on replaying it because they've added Barbarian, I'm not gonna lie, if you went, Pete, do you want to join, I'd probably fold and say yes, because I really fucking enjoyed what I played, and I would love to go play it again and play it with a full squad and do a playthrough. But either way, I can put my hand on my heart, but I won't, because I'm putting it on my mouse pad instead, that if this channel's still going next year, if Tommy hasn't managed to get us cancelled, then there will be a Baldur's Gate 3 playthrough on this channel.
Indeed.
But there might be one before that of what's currently in the game. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, like they definitely have added more stories since you last played, but to my, like, it's weird because to my knowledge, unless I've just been kept out of the loop for so long now that I completely missed it, but to my knowledge, the first act is still the only act that's out at the moment.
That wouldn't surprise me. They might just have, because where it ended when I played it was that it's like, and now we need to go to Baldur's Gate, which is kind of still in Act 1, I feel like, because we didn't get to Baldur's Gate. So, yeah, I don't know.
Which is strange to me, the fact that they're only releasing the first act until the whole game is out. I mean, I guess it can make sense. So, you can still play it, but then, you got something to look forward to. But
I guess it's also spoilers. Like, from the sounds of things, the story for this is going to be kind of weird and loopy, and so they might not want to reveal all the cards just yet. But yeah,
I've got to say, from like the last time I played it with Samo, there is like even when something goes wrong, it feels so much like D&D.
yeah.
Like, if you like, I'll put up like a little spoiler warning. This is the spoiler warning.
Chapters below if you want to skip.
Yeah. If you don't want to know about anything in Baldur's Gate 3, then skip ahead. But there was this one part in Baldur's Gate 3 where you end up going to like a goblin village, and you sort of go up the hill a little bit, and you see this gnome that's strapped to a windmill,
Mm-hmm.
and he's just going round and round, and obviously, like you can like just ignore the goblins, let them carry on. You can get them to like, leave, and then you can go and help the gnome. And I remember I'd done it before, but it just makes me laugh every time I see it. I think that's like one of the funniest things I've seen in the game. And I was playing with Samo. He was off doing something, and I went around the back of the windmill to climb up to turn it off. And I was like, okay, before I do this, you've got to come and see this. And so I was waiting for Samo, and I accidentally clicked on a lever, and he just went flying off and like splattered on the floor. And I was like, oh, okay, don't worry.
Yeah, I think
that was one of the best moments.
as you said, Baldur's Gate 3 really nails the Dungeons and Dragons humor of just like any tabletop role playing game, and I love doing kind of serious storytelling and serious role play in tabletop role playing games, but inherently tabletop role playing games are silly because it's role play. And what I learned, because I want to try to run a comedy campaign and that didn't work because it felt too forced, is that comedy just naturally occurs, and Baldur's Gate 3 really allows that. And the fact that it's written to allow that and in the correct way is just such a cool and unique thing. And Divinity does that as well in Divinity 2. So it's not a new thing to Larian, but yes, it really nails that feel. But also, the gameplay is just so good from what I remember of Baldur's Gate 3. In that same village that you were just talking about, I played a rogue in my party, and I remember there's like 2 trolls fighting inside a house or whatever, and I sneaked up into the rafters of the roof and just started dropping shit on them and shooting them from above, and it was just like, it felt like me going to my DM and going, I want to climb up onto the roof of that. Cool, I'm up there. Now let me do some bullshit. And then at one point, one of them breaks the rafter that I'm on, and I fell down or whatever. It was just so good. So yeah,
I think when the full game releases, I genuinely think it could become my favorite game ever.
Yeah,
and that was another thing I was going to say actually. Not only did they add Barbarian, which I'm excited about, but there was a single line in the patch notes. Or not a single line, but a single point that had various bugs fixed underneath it, and this one section fixed every single bug that me and Samo had in our playthrough, and I was so happy.
But your outfits will now always unify to your chest color.
No.
Also, real quick, going back to SWTOR's dies, I forgot to mention this when you were talking about it. The one thing that pisses me off about their dies, because I haven't got that bug, but why the fuck are their dies so limited? You can literally buy primary or secondary dies, but you can't mix them together to make your own combination.
Yep.
Anyways.
There are some really common, what you would expect to be common combinations as well that just don't exist in the game. If you want a grey and blue, good fucking luck.
Fun fact, that's exactly the colors I was going for my Mandalorian, because I was trying to make him look like one of the Onyx clan, the group that Alex and Tommy are part of in Star Wars Leviathan, a campaign coming to my channel soon when Tommy finally fucking sorts out his living situation. And I can't do it without it having silver in there as well, which is fine. It looks fine, but it doesn't look as good as it could do. But yeah. Do you have anything to say on The Wolf Among Us 2? Tommy posted that today, about an hour before we started the podcast. I'd already seen it weeks ago when the trailer released.
I haven't played. I think the only Telltale game that I've played through fully is Tales from the Borderlands. So I've not really played anything else. I think I've started years ago now. I started to play the Batman one and a little bit of the Game of Thrones one, but I didn't really get into them.
I haven't played The Wolf Among Us 1, although I've heard brilliant things, and I think I own it now. But I watched the trailer. It looks cool. That's kind of all I have to say on it. Cool. And that's all the topics that we had on the list. However, there's an extra one.
Oh.
Just before this podcast started, literally in the hour beforehand, I started a TV show. A TV show I know you've watched. I started The Legend of Vox Machina.
Oh.
I'm 2 episodes in. I'm enjoying it.
Hey. It's good, right?
Yeah. No, I think the one weird thing with it is that, this is going to sound so weird, I've heard every single voice actor in Critical Role in a video game or a TV show before, but it's weird to hear them playing their characters, but voice acted, not around a table being a little bit rowdy sort of thing.
Yeah, it's really strange.
Yeah, it's the studio
even
clean.
Throughout the whole season, I was just yeah, I can just imagine them saying this around the table,
Well, there's been some bits where they've people have literally edited how it happened at the table and how it happened in the show just to show comparisons. So, yeah.
It's super weird because I feel even some of them their voices don't even match what their characters look like, and I'm it's so weird. This is their characters. They created them. They voiced them. They are their babies. But I also feel they shouldn't be voicing them because they don't really fit them.
But
But I mean,
the thing that I really loved in episode 2 was, so the spoilers alert for Legend of Vox Machina and I guess Critical Role's campaign 1. I'll give you 3 seconds to fuck off to the next chapter. Cool. When they kill the dragon and Grog says in the actual show, "I would like to rage." I was like, it's just so good because it's like it makes no fucking sense that he would say that in the show, but also it's perfect that they kept it in. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's a little bit more adult than I expected because like Critical Role is not adult, but like I don't remember there being as many like nude jokes and that sort of thing in the campaign, or at least not as frequently because it's compressed into half an hour or whatever. So like that kind of was like, oh, this isn't quite what I expected, but it doesn't bother me.
It gets so fucking dark. You're in for a treat.
I don't even necessarily mean dark because like the gore and whatever is fine, but like there's a lot of like Scanlan nude humor in the first episode. I'm like, I mean, yes, that's in the campaign, but like I guess even if it's in one session that's spread over like 4 hours compared to half an hour sort of thing, it's like that just took a little bit of adjusting too because I wasn't expecting it. But I do love how Scanlan was introduced in the show though. Like, it's like perfect Scanlan.
Yeah, it's. I can't wait for the second season already. Like I finished it and I was like, "Fuck, this was just so good." Like it was just everything I wanted and more, basically.
Also, random fact I discovered when like Amazon has like its X-ray thing where you can see the cast and whatever. I like accidentally activated that, and the dragon character, who I totally called who the dragon character was. I don't remember watching that arc in Critical Role, but because I've only seen like maybe 20 sessions of Critical Role's first campaign. But like the dragon character, who I totally predicted who they were, is played by David Tennant.
Yep.
I thought that was cool. Didn't expect David Tennant to show up in Critical Role. But actually,
really,
I would love to see David Tennant play at the table of Critical Role.
That would be sick. Yeah. I mean, they got a few voice actors in where I was like, oh, that's pretty neat.
But yeah. It's Troy Baker in the show. It'd be fucking ironic if he was, because he's like flat out refused to play Critical Role with all of his mates who play Critical Role.
Really?
Yeah, apparently. I don't know if this is still the case. This is like years ago. I remember Googling Troy Baker Critical Role, and he was like, I'm just not a fan of D&D. I don't think it would be for me. So it's not like him refusing. It's just like, I don't think I'd enjoy it. So.
Yeah, I don't know.
Fair enough. But yeah, no, I'm enjoying it so far. 2 episodes in. I think there's 12 in total. So, yeah. I guess that also covers things in media that I jumped the gun. Fuck. What have you been watching or consuming?
I mean, I've been consuming quite a lot, really. I guess. I want to talk a little bit about Titans season 3.
Oh boy. I have not seen it, but I have seen the first 2 seasons and decided I think I was done.
So, I don't think it's much of a spoiler anymore because it was just, they put out posters of it all and they kind of announced it anyway. But the main reason that I wanted to watch this season, and like by no means did I think the first 2 were terrible. I didn't think they were excellent, but I enjoyed moments of it. Season 2, I really like Deathstroke. Like I love Deathstroke just as a character, so I'm kind of a bit of a shill, so I was bound to love him anyway. I thought that would be the same for the character I was just talking about, Red Hood. again,
Who, I will say, in season 1 and season 2, really liked his portrayal of Jason Todd. I can't remember the actor's name, but really liked him as Jason Todd.
Jason Todd, for me, in the first 2 seasons, made the show. I think he was... Oh, my camera, why you do this? Fuck it.
Hey, it fixed
there we
itself.
go. Yeah, Jason Todd, I felt, was the most real character. Because he had stuff going on. You know, he came in as the new Robin. He was already kind of a bit rough around the edges. We've seen that Batman is basically just a fucking awful human being. And everyone else is just a massive asshole towards him for absolutely no reason.
Hold on. Dick Grayson has a reason. Fuck Batman.
Yeah, okay, well... Yeah, okay, fuck Batman, but what the fuck has Jason done, you know? Like,
He's Batman's new kid, so fuck Batman and fuck Batman's kid.
he's come in and he's like, you know, he wants to get in with the Titans. He wants to basically have like his family, because as we've seen, Batman isn't the most caring parental figure. Alfred is dead in this universe.
Is he?
So, yes.
Was that established in season 1 and 2?
I'm not sure if it's established in 1 and 2, but it is in 3.
Ah. I didn't
Because
know that.
yeah, they said that in like... But also, I just like to say, I've only seen like the first 2 episodes of season 3 because I gave up.
My understanding is that Jason Todd like dies immediately and then shows up as Redhead basically immediately. So
okay, so anyway, I'll get on to that. Yeah, so Jason comes in. He kind of wants some new friends and everything, because he only really has Bruce, and Bruce is, as I said, not the most caring parental figure.
guy's just obsessed with Daenerys.
Pretty much. Yeah, if you didn't know that they cast the
Ian Glenn, I think his name is.
Yeah. They cast the bloke that Daenerys like exiled in Game of Thrones to play Batman. Terrible fucking casting choice.
I will say this, having not seen any of him in season 3, I came round to him in a weird way in the episode where Dick is having like visions of him, and there's one where he's like dancing in the nightclub and it's full blown Adam West, and I was like, oh, okay, you're kind of like going for an Adam West sort of Bruce Wayne. I don't hate that.
Yeah, he's not.
Okay, never mind then.
Terrible fucking casting choice. Again, I'll get onto that. Because even in 2 episodes, I have quite a lot to like pick. And yeah, everyone's an arsehole to Jason for absolutely no reason, blaming all their problems on him, not giving him any of the help that he's, you know, actually looking for, and basically just telling him to fuck off the whole time. So obviously he's gonna be a bit, you know, pissed off at this, which he is, and you know, that's even explored in the 2nd season. Like, he starts just getting all angry and shit because he's like, everybody fucking hates me, what am I doing wrong? And like, he is the most likable character because he really isn't doing anything wrong, and all of the other Titans that are meant to be like, you know, the goody two shoes type characters just aren't. They are just all bastards. And so except Beast Boy.
And although I haven't seen season 3, is Superboy still a good boy?
Oh yeah, Superboy.
Okay.
But I mean, Superboy...
What about Crypto the Superdog? Is he still a good boy?
Yes, he is.
Okay.
Although Superboy only really came around like
halfway through season 2
at the end,
that.
so he didn't really have much interaction with Jason anyway.
He did save him though.
He did.
From the moment when they were obviously setting up Red Hood and then went, nah, fuck that, we'll kill him off in the season 3 premiere.
Yeah, literally, what the fuck. So yeah, like, he's the most likable character, And I was really excited to see what they were going to do to turn him into Red Hood, because as you just said, that moment in season 2 would have been absolutely perfect for it. And he could have actually have like had this whole story of, you know, the rest of the Titans were so wrapped up in their own problems and everything that they weren't there to help him, and he died from that, and so he comes back angry, and he's like, well, these people don't have a problem with being so brutal, so why don't I just take it that extra step further? You know, that would have been perfect setup, perfect execution.
And if they hadn't wanted to do that, they could have then had him try and catch like a sign and then get electrocuted by that sign. Don Troy's death in season 2's finale.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's not talk about that. But yeah, so anyway, that doesn't happen. He just gets saved and he just goes back to being whatever.
He leaves the Titans for a bit with Deathstroke's daughter, doesn't he? And then shows up again at the finale or whatever.
Yeah, but he still just doesn't like really give a shit. So open season 1.
He's like, fuck
season
Titans.
3 even. Yeah, he opens season 3 even. He's back in it. Again, spoilers for Titan season 3. I'll give you 2 seconds to click off this time, other than the usual 3. 1, 2, get out of here. Okay, so open season 3. He's in the Batcave. He finds, or he hears on the police, what's it called, frequency, that the Joker's been spotted, and he's doing some weird shit. And so Jason gets on the phone to Bruce, and he's like, "Yo, Bruce, the Joker's like, I've got him pinned down. I've pinned down his location. Like, we got to go there right now." And Bruce is on a plane, and Bruce is like, "No, we can wait until tomorrow." And Jason's like, "What? Like, I have his location pinned down. We need to get him now." And Bruce is like, "Nah, I can wait." And I'm like, is this Batman? What? It's literally his arch enemy. He's doing some weird shit, and he's just on a plane. He's like, "Ah, no, I can't get there, bro. Just stay put." And of course, Jason doesn't, because he's Jason fucking Todd, and he's like, "Yeah, I can handle this shit by myself." So he goes off to like Amusement Mile or wherever it is, and starts getting pummeled by the Joker. Classic, crowbar to the head type shit, and he's dead. First episode. And Bruce is just kind of like Dick goes
on to the next kid.
Yeah, literally. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. The whole premise of this, right, like of these 2 episodes, is Dick goes to Bruce, who is just basically completely shut down, and Dick's like, "Can we talk about this?" And Bruce is like looking up, criminals and everything.
I really hoped you were going to say looking up like 12-year-olds who don't mind dressing up in spandex and fighting crime.
So he's like looking up criminals, and Dick's like, "Can't we just take a moment to talk about this? Jason, blah, 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 blah." And Bruce is just completely shut down. He doesn't see, like, he's just not talking about his feelings or anything. And anyway, Bruce goes off to do something. Dick goes on the computer. Tim Drake, Stephanie Brown, blah, blah, blah. Duke, whatever. He literally is looking for the next Robin. You were right. He literally has a list of new fucking candidates to be Robin straight after Jason has died. And Dick's like, "You're fucking insane. You are as bad as the Joker."
Well, yeah.
And then they bring Barbara Gordon into it, and she like just absolutely fucking rails into Bruce, like basically saying the exact same fucking thing. And it then cuts to like Nightwing asleep at night. You hear like metal hit the floor. He wakes up to see Bruce standing there, and he's killed the Joker. And then he just fucks off. He just gets on a plane and fucks off after killing the Joker. And then bam. This is episode 2, by the way. And then bam. Jason's back as Red Hood, and he's blowing up innocent people. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? What the fuck is going on? They're like, I like, that isn't Red Hood, that isn't Batman. Like, I know people can say, oh, it's a different universe and whatever, but like, this is crazy. This is just awful. Like, it's just so hard for me to like sit there and watch this happen and be like, yeah, this is okay. Like, I just.
I haven't even watched the 2 episodes that you just described to me, Alex, and I feel the need to look at this beautiful The Batman poster and listen to the beautiful The Batman theme tune and just cleanse my soul.
It was. I was speechless. Genuinely, I was just like, I don't even know what to say at this point. This is just so bad.
I'm here. I can't quite picture the beginning of the Batman theme tune, so I'm now just thinking of Something in the Way by Nirvana while looking at the poster. It's doing the same job.
But like, dude, as soon as you said about like, you know, having the list of like new people to take over Robin, I was like, there's no way you've just fucking guessed that. Like, that's
compare
so
that to the fucking comics, right? Where, and I'm not trying to for one moment excuse Batman's fucked up decision to use child soldiers in his fight against crime, but Dick Grayson, he's like, I'm gonna give this kid a home. This kid's gonna fight crime with me. That one's pretty fucked up. I'll give him that one. Next one, he finds Jason Todd stealing the hubcaps off of his Batmobile, and Dick Grayson's left at this point. I'll take you in, get you off the streets. Shit, I've made you become Robin again. Can't believe I keep on making child soldiers out of my adopted sons. Correct me if I'm wrong, Tim Drake works out who Batman is, right? That's how he gets to become Robin, is he works out that Batman is Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
That is completely like such a better way to introduce the next Robin, particularly after Jason Todd has died, than that kid will do.
Oh, actually, I misspoke when I went through the list. They have introduced Tim Drake in this season. However, he wasn't like on the like list. He like, from where I am in the series at the moment, he hasn't interacted with any of the heroes.
Okay.
But
still,
like Stephanie Brown and everything.
Sure,
like Lucius Fox's kid and whatever.
Again, in the comics, Batman has gone, oh shit, maybe I should stop taking children out into Gotham to fight crime because of what happened to Jason Todd, and Tim Drake basically has to convince Batman to let him be Robin.
Well, yeah, and I mean, the whole thing with Batman and his Robins is he actually cares about them. You know, like,
it depends on the variation. There is the whole reason. I can't remember which Batman it is or which like avenue it is, but there's the rationale that he gives as to why Robin wears bright colors, which is so criminals shoot at Robin. And I'm like, that's so fucked up.
Yeah. Okay. Well, in the
but
normal,
I think that's
like,
an animated movie where he says that. Yeah.
like when he isn't just absolutely fucking insane, I guess, like he is in this series. You know, he at least cares, especially in the Under the Red Hood comics. You know, like, it wasn't for the fact that he I don't know how to put it, but you know, when Jason died, he was upset, you know, and like he felt guilty because he wasn't there to save him and whatever. And you know, he, again, as you said, it took him a long time and convincing from Tim Drake to take on a Robin. And you know, he at least shows some sort of remorse and sorrow over it. The problem with it in this is that he clearly just doesn't care whatsoever, because he's like, sure, he's shut down emotionally and whatever, but the thing that gets to me is, yeah, he starts looking for these new people immediately, and he's like stood in a doorway or something, and Dick's like yelling at him like, you're as insane as the Joker, like recruiting children for your fucked up, whatever is, it's on the same level.
Mm-hmm.
And Bruce just looks him dead in the eyes and goes, do you want to be Robin again? I can't do this alone. And Dick's just like, no, I don't want to be fucking Robin.
I mean, the good thing is, from what you're telling me, Dick Grayson sounds like a somewhat realistic human being this season so far.
Yeah, like, I mean, I guess that is a good thing. Like, he reacted the way that I was hoping he'd react in, which is don't put up with Bruce's bullshit. And the way Barbara reacted as well, like she really didn't hold back. Like Bruce got absolutely fucking roasted. But the problem was that he said that, and he has this list of other people. He clearly doesn't care about Jason, the fact that he's dead. He literally just wants a Robin, which is just like, it's just not a good portrayal of Batman whatsoever.
I think the thing is, a lot of, and look, maybe this has been going on for years in the comic books and what have you, but it feels like at the moment, with us getting a lot of adaptations of Batman in animated movies and in the Snyderverse and such, like, yeah, that's right, I'm calling out fucking Snyder. So many people who are writing Batman at the moment for DC and for Warner Brothers don't seem to understand, or don't seem to agree on the vision of Batman that I have. I was going to say don't understand Batman, but maybe that's too much of a judgment call. For me, Batman is a fucking psychopath, and he is almost broken beyond repair, particularly when we first meet him. And it's the people he surrounds himself with, who he usually breaks in the process because he's a broken person, but the people he surrounds himself with that show his humanity and make him an empathetic character and make him a hero. And this is what I'm really excited with. I'm so fucking hyped for the Batman. This is what I'm really excited for with the Batman, is that this seems to be the most brutal, the most dark, the most destructive Batman, which might sound like the thing I'm criticizing other writers for doing, but I'm getting that vibe that that's not the character he's going to end up being by the end of the film. That's where we're meeting him in his year 2, and then something's going to happen, whether that's Selena Kyle, whether that's Alfred, whether that's whatever he finds out from the Riddler, and he's going to end up being a better person because of it. But, the Dark Knight trilogy, which does a lot of things right and does a lot of things wrong, or not wrong, but it's not the Batman from the comics. It's very much Nolan's own version of the Batman. But what they did really, really well was that Alfred is Bruce's anchor, and Alfred is the person who's making Bruce a hero. Without, and maybe this is the thing that Titans is going for, is without Alfred, Bruce Wayne and Batman don't coexist. The Batman is just the monster who goes out at night hunting down criminals, and it's Alfred who allows Bruce to be the Batman and Bruce to inhabit that cowl and be a human. And yeah, I don't know. It feels like so many recent Batmans are just like, nah, let's just have him be just the darkness with no humanity. And that's not interesting to me. And that's not Batman to me. That's the Punisher, but worse, because even the Punisher has human elements to him. So
yeah, I mean, they could be going for a lot of things. I mean, I left out the part where he said to Dick, be a better Batman, which is obviously like quite a famous line from the comics and shit. And I guess it's kind of working into Dick's story of like, okay, well, he's had this impression of Bruce and Batman for quite a while, and now Bruce is finally tipped over the edge, and Batman is gone now because he fucked off. Batman is no longer in Gotham.
Wait, did Bruce
So
Wayne say
now,
fuck Batman?
pretty much,
Oh,
not on
but
screen.
he didn't literally say,
No.
missed opportunity, Titans.
But yeah, I guess it can work into the story of Dick now has to maybe move back to Gotham because it's without its hero. And, I think that's actually what he says. He wants to bring the Titans to Gotham,
Mm.
to sort of start, making up for the loss of Batman. But at the same time, I kind of wish they just didn't bother with this storyline, because it just makes the characters just all feel bad. And the one character that I liked, as I said, Jason Todd, they've just made him into just a murderer.
Mm.
Like not someone who just kills the bad guys and shit either. Like, he literally just murders innocent people. And like, maybe they write that off as him being a maniac because of the Lazarus pit.
Yeah, that's
But
what I was
like,
gonna say.
even so, like, fuck, that takes it like a massive step further, really, than it needed to be. Like, it kind of makes it hard to feel like at that point, well, okay, he wasn't exactly himself, but also like, you're still gonna have him running around after that. He's just murdered a bunch of innocent people, and it's just a bit like, mm, it's not brilliant, really. And it's a shame because I was, as I said, really looking forward to it. And I just don't think I can stomach actually watching any more of it, because it would just ruin my perception of the characters even more.
It's fine. Just rewatch the Batman trailer on repeat. Listen to the soundtrack, but not all of it. Just the Batman theme on repeat, and look at Robert Pattinson in the Batsuit on repeat.
I've got to say,
Order a Robert Pattinson Batman body pillow. Cuddle it to bed.
whoa, that's me. I mean, that's maybe you, buddy, but I'm okay.
Look, you can only see half of my bed, all right?
Anyway, that's Titans. That's my rant on Titans. It's not very good.
Yeah. Nah, I mean, as I say, I kind of gave up after season 2. I just, to me, it just there's so many weird character choices in that show. I think the one that I still can't quite get over, and it's not that I inherently think that she's bad as the character or that the character is badly written or anything like that. It's just such a weird choice for the character. Is, if you ask me, and I'm going to fully confess here, I haven't read a lot of comics with her in it, but if you ask me what my impression, what my go-to characteristics for Starfire are,
Yep.
one of the things that I'd immediately go to is her cute little innocence that she doesn't understand the human world, right?
Yeah.
And in Titans, Starfire has been living on Earth for several months, years, whatever, and she's lost her memory, so she doesn't remember that she's an alien called Starfire at the beginning of the show, and she gets it back as the show goes on. So she's just...
and also she just brutalizes people for seemingly no reason.
Ignoring that for a moment, because that fits within the Titans vibe of like, oh, we're dark and gritty, blah, 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 fuck Batman. But like, when you meet her, she's basically a human, and then progressively she uncovers her powers like she's a mutant in X-Men or whatever. I'm like, so you've given zero opportunity for her to not understand things that humans go through, or what turns of phrases mean, or anything like that, because she already basically is one when we meet her. Like, that core element of her characterization, at least in Teen Titans, is just not present. For no reason. Like, it doesn't add anything to her character, in my opinion, to do that. But hey ho. But I did watch season 2, and season 2 I do think is better than season 1. But yeah, I can't be bothered with season 3.
No, I think you made the right decision there. Don't suffer like I did.
But anyways, apparently in the Batman, he's going to narrate the movie, and I'm really excited for that because I think that's a really cool choice.
That's really weird. I don't really have any... I'm not for or against it. I just think it's weird.
I think it fits for them going for a noir detective story, and also it kind of fits with the comic books. Like, quite often in comic books, you have the character's internal thoughts, but I guess it depends how they do it and how often they do it. But I'm imagining it being things like Bruce or Batman discovers a clue, and then he shows up at, like, I don't know, the Penguin's docks or whatever, and as he's looking over it, he narrates, I met Christian Bale in the toilets, and he told me to get a zipper onto my batsuit so I could pee easily. He said that in an interview recently.
I'm just kind of imagining it in I can't remember who. Oh, I can't remember the voice actor's name now. But the voice actor for Batman in Batman the Brave and the Bold.
Is that not Kevin Conroy? Is that someone else?
No.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
No, it's someone else. It's another well-known voice actor, but I can't for the life of me remember. Who is it? Diedrich Bader.
Okay.
Just like he has quite a distinct Batman voice as well, and I'm just imagining in his voice, and that would be hilarious.
Also, I watched an interview recently with Robert Pattinson, and he did say in this interview, and he said in other interviews, that he just, like, pathologically lies in interviews because he doesn't know what to say and he just wants to fill the empty noise, so he just makes up bullshit. But he was just like, I think it was Jimmy Fallon, and he was like, yeah, when I first started, I was like, I want to make my Batman voice completely different to Christian Bale's. I kind of want to make it like a bat. I want to go really high-pitched and screechy. And they were like, nah, don't do that. And he just kept on telling stories like that. And Jimmy Fallon was like, so it kind of sounds like you had a lot of bad ideas going into this role. And he's like, yeah, I did. And so I don't know if he's lying or not, but either way, I find it funny.
I mean, at the end of the day, if the director and everything okayed whatever his decisions ended up being, then it's probably fine, right?
Yeah. The other story he told, and this is what I think he's probably just bullshitting, is that apparently he presented to Matt Reeves a video of how bats actually fight, and it was a video of a vampire bat biting and eating a chicken's anus. Then he was like, I think I should do that. So again, I reckon he's probably just taking the piss, but maybe he's just actually a fucking lunatic.
That's actually how he meets Catwoman.
To be fair, if he is just a fucking lunatic, it works for Bruce Wayne / Batman, doesn't it?
He just starts like fighting Selena and just ends up beating her ass.
I'm not sure that's going to be in the film. He has also said that the film starts like no other Batman film ever, and there's been so many memes about like how it's going to start now. But
I mean, like, is there a particular way they start? I mean, I guess with Batman's origin, but
yeah,
like...
which they've confirmed it's not going to be like that. But no, I reckon it's going to be something like Batman's in an elevator with some guy, and the guy's like, cool Batman costume. He's like, thanks. You make it yourself? Yeah. Doesn't look very comfortable. It's not. Rides up in the crotch a lot.
That would be a funny reference, to be fair. I mean, yeah, I'm trying to think how else it would start. I mean, it would...
I reckon it's probably gonna either start with just Batman doing Batman, but then I guess we've seen it start with Batman doing Batman things, and we've seen it with the criminals as well. So maybe it literally just starts with like Commissioner Gordon. Like, apparently he's Lieutenant Gordon in this film, so he's not even is detective lower than lieutenant, or is lieutenant lower than? I don't know. He's
You're
not
asking the
commissioner.
wrong guy.
He's not commissioner in
Yeah.
this film, although he wasn't in Batman Begins either. But
Oh, that's another thing actually. Quickly, just going back to Titans. Sorry. Barbara Gordon, right? You know that whole infamous, shot in the back by the Joker. The Killing Joke. She becomes paralyzed, right? And now I know that the actress only has this.
yeah, no, I know this.
Like,
yeah.
She just has one leg. Like,
And don't
it's just
I've heard that they try and explain it as part of the same act, and it's like, how did that cause that though?
well, yeah. She just says like, "Oh, when the Joker shot me, blah blah blah." I'm like, "You blew off your leg?"
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm absolutely fine with her being portrayed by an amputee, and I'm fine with the
Yeah,
character being an amputee, but it is a bit weird that they didn't explain, like, change it a little bit. If I were you,
they literally could have just said when the Joker chopped off my leg or something,
which would
and
be
I
pretty
would've been
fucked
like,
up.
"Oh right,
But like,
yeah, okay, yeah."
yeah,
Like, yeah, I would have been like, "Oh right, okay." But when they were just like, when the Joker shot me, I was like, "What gun did he use? A 50 cal?"
look,
Like,
maybe we don't know enough about about such things, and this can happen. But yes, that is weird to me. But equally, if they said, "Ah, yeah," when the Joker took a saw blade to my leg, and that would be like, "Oh, fuck, okay."
I mean, I
Fits
would
with the
be
character,
absolutely
but
fine with
like,
that, yeah.
but just yeah, wow. But also, to be fair, the Killing Joke in general, just wow, pretty
Yeah.
fucked up comic animal.
Anyway.
But yeah, I think that's us. Batman comes out in like 3 weeks, maybe 2 weeks. I think it's March 4th.
Sounds about right.
Can't contain myself, Alex. If it's March 4th, it's less than 2 weeks away. It's like a week and 4 days away.
However, are you gonna live up until that moment?
The thing I'm genuinely worried, I genuinely think this is going to be the best Batman film for me ever. And that's terrifying to me because I, generally speaking, try and go into a movie with low expectations, like keep my expectations in check so that I don't get disappointed, and usually then it gets elevated. Like, one of my best film going experiences was Solo, where I was like, this film's going to suck, and then it didn't. It was one of the best Disney Star Wars films, and I was like, oh my god, it's amazing. So I'm like, oh no, I'm too hyped for the Batman. There's no way it can live up to the hype, but also maybe it could.
I mean, fingers crossed, eh? I mean, I'd love to have a new favorite Batman film. I mean, it's been pretty difficult seeing all of these different Batmans come and go, and still have my favorite be Batman '89.
Yeah. I mean, I think 89.
And also my favorite Joker, Jack Nicholson. So that's probably a part of it.
I'm going to leave you with this. I think this is how we're going to end the podcast.
Okay.
I don't know how true the story is, so allegedly, Jack Nicholson got kicked out of a basketball game when he was like sat courtside or whatever, because he spilt something like a bowl of homemade chili or something onto the court. He brought homemade food and he spilt it onto the court, and they kicked him out of the game. I don't know if that's true. Research it. You can probably find the details, but if that is true, that just makes me love Jack Nicholson even more.
Yeah. That is so weird. Why would you even have just a bowl of homemade chili with you?
Shall I Google it before we end the podcast, just so I don't?
I'm just imagining it's like oh shit, I can't remember. You know the guy's name from The Office?
Yes.
Yeah. Imagine him like coming in with like this whole like great big sort of metal tub of like chili and then just dropping it onto the field.
Apparently, it's from The Onion, but there is a photo of him having spilt homemade chili on himself during some sort of event where he sat down. So, like, the photo is real, but apparently him being banned from sitting courtside after spilling Tupperware full of homemade chili is not. That didn't actually happen, but there is a photo of him having spilled homemade chili from a Tupperware container on his knee. So there you have it. Either way, Jack Nicholson's a lad. Cool. Thanks for watching the
Piggledy podcast.
And
Was that Claptrap?
yes, it was. I got that one in preparation for the Borderlands series that we're going to be doing imminently. Or if we don't do the Borderlands series imminently because Alex and Tommy draw in the Piston Cup, they've both agreed to play through the entirety of Cuphead and or Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy.
I don't remember this. I don't
happened.
remember agreeing to this.
It happened. They agreed. There's receipts. If Callum was here, he'd be agreeing with me, so you know it's true.
Goodbye, anyway.
Yeah, bye-bye.